Hello everyone, hope I'm audible and visible to all of you. If I'm audible and visible, do write it in the comment section that oh my god, that I'm audible and visible. So today is 12th November 2025 and yesterday night means result was declared. And there are many people who got through, many people who did not get through this means hurdle and they have to start from scratch again. And again, it's a very, frightening stage to be in. I will be very frank. We all have been there who have given UPSC means. So we know this particular stage. And good morning, Rishi. Good morning, Gajanan. Good morning, Matt King. Good morning, everyone. So please, guys, people who have cleared, congratulations. People who have not cleared, see, there is one thing which is the common theme of almost all who have given UPSC means. Okay, I'm audible and visible. Good morning. See, most of the religious scriptures, they focus on one particular thing, most if not all. And what is the common theme of almost all religious scriptures? Fear not, do not fear. This is the common theme of almost all religious scriptures, be it Bible, be it Bhagavad Gita, be it, anything you take. So Quran, fear not, do not fear. Most of the time, even when we are talking about you people, or when I'm talking about myself or other people, even if you talk about Shah Rukh Khan, etc., if you hear and read their biographies, most of the time we don't know where we are going, what we are doing. The only thing which you can do is just give your best. Whatever you're doing, give your best, and rest everything will be taken care of by God. So just like whatever you're doing, if you're preparing for UPSC, be honest. If I'm teaching you for UPSC, I have to be honest. If I'm honest to my work, if you're honest to your work, rest everything will be taken care of by God. So don't worry. I know it's easier said than done, and I know what you people are going through right now, people who have written mains. But again, this too shall pass. And if you are honest to your work, everything will take care of itself. This is my Telegram channel. I will share this into analysis PDF by 9:30 a.m. today. So let's start the discussion, and without wasting time, yesterday I give you people this particular question. BRO involvement in Bhutan is significant because. Why it is significant, guys? Chipandis. So what is the answer? BRO built Bhutan's early road network, which enabled modernization. BRO currently manages all roads in Bhutan. BRO finances Bhutan's hydropower projects. BRO maintains military bases in Bhutan. What is the answer? What is the reason for BRO involvement in Bhutan? Yesterday we talked about India-Bhutan relationship. So Vikas and Matt King, they have given the answer. A. BRO built Bhutan's early road network, which enabled modernization. Now they have given Bhutan back. Bhutan is the one, like their individual entities are making the roads now. BRO is no longer involved in the road construction because it's also about sovereignty, so to say. Cool, sir. So Vikas, Mad King, GY, they have given the answer. Let's come back to the present and let's talk about the first article of the day. Page number 10, editorial GS1, GS3, which is about Delhi attacks. The attacks which happened on Red Fort. So government has invoked UAPA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, initially passed in 1967, and then it had been amended a lot. So amended a lot, and there is a specific amendment of UAPA which is very much significant to us, which is 2019 amendment. Before 2019 amendment, what used to happen? Only organizations were deemed as terrorist organization. After 2019 amendment, even individuals can be deemed as terrorist under UAPA. So basic rationale is, as the name suggests, to undo or to prevent unlawful activities. Now many people feel like UAPA is also used against activists or to silence dissenters. So that is a different matter altogether. Good morning, Iltush. So hope you're understanding UAPA 2019 amendment. They can ask you after which amendment even individuals could be deemed as terrorists under UAPA. So 2019 amendment, and they have also invoked the Explosives Act of 1884, via which import and export of different explosives are regulated to a certain extent. Explosive acts. NIA will be investigating this whole case. See, focus on the keywords involved here and how it is related to UAPA 1967. Very good here, Vikas. So what are the keywords which are involved here? One keyword is UAPA 1967. What this is a preventive detention law. You can be booked under UAPA for 180 days without bringing you in front of a court. 180 days, which can be extended. And when was it passed? What is the basic rationale? Explosives Act 1884. What is the basic rationale of Explosive Act? To regulate the import and export of explosives. Then NIA, National Investigative Agency, is, or investigation agency, is in the charge of investigation. It was created, this NIA was created after 26/11 Bombay attacks. There is a different act of NIA Act 2008. So now, and they can, under that NIA can, look into cases of UAPA, Explosive Act, blah, blah, blah. So NIA Act, in National Investigation Agency. So these are some keywords. So GS3, internal security. From that perspective, this article is very important. And then why GS1? Because I was having a look at so many different, reels and videos which were there related to Delhi attack, how they are targeting one particular religion. I have already told you there is one particular Sadhvi who was earlier an MP. She was a Hindu and she was booked under terrorist charges. But then she became an MP of one particular political party. So you can talk about how terrorism has a religion or not. I don't agree with it. You can agree to disagree with me. The point is we have to maintain social harmony this at this point of time. And then there is another question of accountability. Earlier, whenever these kind of attack used to happen, government used to take accountability. Who is accountable? One particular religion is accountable, and government is not accountable. Government is never accountable. You know, what is the basic rationale here? We have to understand that also. Why we have appointed a government for going to Bhutan or for doing some work? So a car explosion occurred near Red Fort. Police have invoked UAPA. Explosive acts, we have talked about it. We will solve some question. You will understand other things also. Section 18 of UAPA covers conspiracy or aiding a terrorist act. And again, this particular article is talking about we have to be very, very sensitive right now. And I'm not seeing that sensitivity when I'm seeing different reels on different channels related to this thing and how they are targeting one particular religion. And this is nothing new. This has happened a lot. Again, NIA is leading the probe. And again, if you read history, you will read world history, and in world history you will realize even in ancient period, like what separated us from, like we are talking about modernity right now, we are in modern India or we are in modern age. What separated medievalism or ancient period from modern age? This whole, the fight over religion, crusades used to happen during medieval period, one religion fighting another religion. If we are back to doing that, we are back in the medieval age, guys. We are no longer modern, so NIA is leading the probe. The main suspect, Umarun Nabi, again, he's a doctor from Pulwama. The point is how these things are happening in your capital city of a particular country. The riots happens, these kind of attacks happen. Do we have no government at all? Do we have no accountability at all? Then why do we need a government? Just remove everything. India has faced sporadic terrorism, but major organized attacks have been confined to conflict zone. Things happening in Delhi, that is totally alarming. Riots happening in Delhi, your capital city, is totally alarming. So BJP has long argued that India was previously a soft state. And again, you can read all these things. We are not going into the political connotation of this particular. Some channels are using this situation to spark communal hatred. I hate this. I seriously, the current India which I'm seeing now, I don't like this. Maybe I should go back to Pakistan, but I won't. I would talk about it. The way this Pak communal hatred and target one religion, this is so sad. Since 2014, government has tightened anti-terror laws, but again, they should implement it also. So you can read all the things. Policing alone is not enough for national security. Right now, we need sensitivity. You know, right now we should ask government rather than asking a particular religion. If I start finding people from different religion is never bad. People of different religions are bad. I can find bad people from Hinduism, from Islam, from Christianity, anything and everything if you want to find. So stop doing that and start focusing on what government is doing, and we should make our government accountable rather than making opposition parties accountable. So terrorism aims to spread social chaos and undermine state legitimacy, and we have to prevent that social chaos. A successful counter-terrorism strategy should therefore combine. You can read all these things. Hope you're understanding what this article is talking about. We are more focused on the keywords and these keywords. So let's solve some question so that you can understand and remember these facts in a much better manner. First question related to UAP 1967. So With reference to UAPA, consider the following statement. Act allows central government to designate both organization and individuals as terrorists. It provides for detention of an accused up to 180 days without filing a charge sheet. The act was originally enacted to curb unlawful activities threatening India's sovereignty and integrity, but now many people believe that it is being used to attack dissenters, attack people who don't agree with government, so to say. Again, what is the answer, guys? Harshini, Gajanan, Iltush, all of you have given the answer. First statement is correct. We have discussed 2019 amendment. Before 2019, under UAPA, only organizations could be deemed as terrorist or terrorist organization. After 2019 amendment, even individuals could be deemed as terrorists. First is correct. Detention of an accused up to 180 days. I have told you this when we were doing this particular article. Second is also correct. Now you're left with third option. This is a general statement. Yes, that was the basic premise, but how far we are using it for this, that is a question altogether. So D is the answer as stated by Harshini, Gajanan, Iltush, Vikash, Jivayan and Mad King. Very good. MCQ2, with reference to NIA, it was established under an Act of Parliament following the 2611 Mumbai terror attacks. It can take up investigation in any state only with the consent of that state government. NIA functions under Ministry of Home Affairs. Now, I have not told you all the points. So, this is based on your pre-existing knowledge. Try to solve this question. Once you have solved this question, then I will give you some more knowledge based on NIA. In mains, they can directly ask you questions related to NIA, UAPA. So these points, the points which you're seeing in pre, they will also help you in writing an answer in mains. Everything is interrelated, guys. So we know for sure, if you talk about this question, MCQ2, what we have discussed this fact. This is correct. So we know for sure first is correct. That means B is eliminated. Now we are left with A, C, and D. So Gajanan, GY, and Harshini, they have given the answer. It can take up, no, it does not need the consent of state government. Central government has overriding power here. So NIA can take actions, and for that, they don't need any consent of state government. If something is happening in Delhi, NIA can investigate by the power given to NIA by central government. So it does not need any consent. So second is wrong. If second is wrong, you eliminate second and you will get the answer, that is C1 and 3 only. NIA functions under MHA, Ministry of Home Affairs. So Vikash, Gajanan, Jivayan, Harshini, Mad King, all of you have given the correct answer. Very good. Let's move on to next question. MCQ3. Which of the following amendments to the UAPA expanded the government's power to designate individuals as terrorists? So 2004 amendment, 2008 amendment, 2012 amendment, 2019 amendment. What is the answer, guys? Harshini has given the answer. We have discussed it, I think, multiple number of times. 2019 amendment. D is the answer. Very good. Harshini, Mad King, Gajanan, Jivayan, Iltush, Vikash, all of you have given the answer. Next article, page number 10, editorial GS3. Exploited workers or labor's policy, MT promises. Regimon Kutapon, he's a forced labor investigator. He has written this article. Very important article from mains perspective. Why? Because government wants to bring something, and which will be covering the period from 2025 to 2047. What government wants to bring? They want to bring this draft Shram, or draft is basically the proposal, Shram Shakti Niti 2025. Shram Shakti Niti, labor policies. So we have very fragmented labor policies. You have EPFO, you have EC or social insurance policy, you have PM Jandhan or Jan Arogya Yojana, you have so many e-Shram portal. So everything is very fragmented when it comes to labor policies in India, and that's why government has brought this Shram Shakti Niti, labor policies, which will try to implement the policies of SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, what ILO talks about, and how we can become a Viksit nation by 2047. That is the basic aim of our Honorable PM, sir. So this whole Shram Shakti Niti 2025, it will be running till 2047. So this article here, the author will talk about, Regimon Kuttapam sir will talk about how it is easier said than done. Whatever draft Shram Shakti Niti will talk about, this is important from mains perspective, guys, because in GS3 you have inclusive growth. And then policies related to Indian economy. So from different aspects, this article is important. So this article is saying that in India, almost 11 million people. 1 million is 10 lakh. So more than 1 crore people are facing modern slavery. They're facing forced labor condition. Even when we're talking about eastern coast seafood industry in Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, etc., there are many people who are working for long hours and they cannot leave their jobs. So there is informality, there's weak legal safeguard. We already know this particular figure. 90% of India's workforce informed or employed informally. When you talk about government jobs, when you're talking about civil servant, etc., these are 10% people. Most of the people are in informal sector and they need some amount of security. And this Shram Shakti Niti 2025 is aimed towards those people. Social Security Card 2020, very good. Very good, Vikash. E-Shram card. So let's focus. So draft Shram Shakti Niti 2025, what it wants to do. And here we will also focus on SDG 13. Anybody knows what is SDG 13? And then you have fundamental rights. You have ILO's directives. All these things will be tried or will be implemented by this draft Shram Shakti Niti. So now, first of all, what this Shram Shakti Niti wants to do, they want to merge these schemes. And now when scheme comes, you have to have you need to know something about these schemes: EPFO, ESIC, PMJ, eShram. So what is this EPFO? This is Provident Fund thing, right? So if you are employed in formal sector, government gives you this Provident Fund thing. They save some amount of money for you. This is insurance. If you are suffering from some health related issues, again for people in formal sector, this is PM Jan Arogya Yojana, which is part of Ayushman Bharat, which was implemented or which was announced by government in 2018. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, 5 lakh health cover for secondary and tertiary healthcare, not for primary healthcare, right? Secondary and tertiary healthcare, please remember this part, not primary healthcare. And what is the basic difference between climate action, nature protection? Cool. So secondary and tertiary healthcare means the first point of contact. I am suffering fever, I am going to somebody's for taking care of my health. That is primary healthcare. For that, PMJ is not there. PMJ is there for secondary and tertiary. If they are referring me to somebody else, then PMJ will be applied. Then eShram portal. This is a labor portal, basically to keep an tab on how many people are employed in informal sector. So this is about informal sector. All these things will be coming under one portable social security account via this particular initiative of government. This one, draft Shram Shakti Niti 2025, because they feel like all these welfare schemes are very scattered. Let's have one particular social security account. But who will fund for the money? Like, who will provide the money? Whether employers will provide or states will provide, who will provide the money? What will be the funding mechanism? There is no mention of that. And then you are talking about bringing them into one portable social security account. So people need, and again, there will be a portal somewhere. It will be connected to internet. So again, that is related to digital literacy. There are many women, there are many elderly people who have, who don't know about these things. So will you exclude them? So there is a risk of exclusion. Article 15 will be discriminated if access remains digital only, because not everybody knows about internet, how to access this. So you have to ensure that there is some non-digital presence as well. Then who will talk about these people and their rights? Do you have unions? What has been seen in recent years, unions, labor unions, they have been weakened to a greater extent, and here also there is no provision of union protection. So again, these things have to be taken care of. If government wants to bring a universal social security account by merging EPFO, ECIC, and again you can see all these things, then these things have to be taken care of. Occupational safety and health, as Vikas was talking about certain codes which were introduced in 2020. So there was one particular code, occupational safety, health and working conditions code, because we know how many disasters and hazards occur when people are there in different jobs. So again, here the aim of this particular, again the name is so Shram Shakti Niti 2025, they include Hindi words here. The goal is near zero fatalities by 2047, when India will become a Viksit Bharat under PM Modi sir. We want PM Modi sir to be alive when he sees this near zero fatality. Again, how you will achieve this near zero fertility? Do you have inspectors? Do you have penalties? So that also has to be taken care of. What we are trying to see, we are trying to see Shram Shakti Niti 2025, which is a draft policy, which is talking about merger of labor policies from 2025 to 2047. What are their aims? 12 million gig workers. Who are these gig workers who are working in basically Zomato, Swiggy, etc., etc.? They remain outside the wage code minima. What should be their minimum wage? flexibility, we talk about their flexibility, when they can work, etc. They should also be brought under this whole ambit. That's what the author is saying. This particular Shram Shakti Niti 2025 wants to target, and remember these targets, they can directly ask you that Shram Shakti Niti 2025 targets 50% female labor force participation by 2030. That is wrong. It targets 35% female labor participation by 2030. So again, how will you achieve that? Do you provide maternity support? What is your modus operandi when you talk about targeting or achieving or reaching 35% female labor participation? Dalit women and marginalized groups, they are generally not taken into account by different data. So how will you bring them into the data ambit? Green transition, there will be so many jobs which will be lost because people are transitioning from coal power to renewable energy. So you have to reskill people, you have to generate green jobs under SDG 13. What is SDG 13, guys? Oh, Vikas has given the answer: climate action. SDG 13, do you people remember all the SDGs? Do you have an idea about all the SDGs, guys? What do all SDGs, like 17 goals, 169 targets? Forget about 169 targets. Do you remember 17 goals? This is the 13, SDG 13. Climate action. Because of transition from non-renewable to renewable sources, there will be reskilling, there will be green jobs, there will be loss of jobs. So we have to align this whole, job scenario to SDG 13 and Article 21, right to life. And that also includes right to livelihood. So that's what they are talking about. These are the things, these are the objectives of this particular Shram Shakti Niti. Rural workers, they may lose or they may not become a part of these green opportunities, because when you're transitioning from, let's say, coal to solar or wind, basically all these things will be happening mostly in the urban areas. So how will you bring rural workers into this green transition? So these are some questions which has to be asked and which has to be answered by government. Remember these SDGs, Jivan already remember it. Save Green Planet PT. Jivan explained this, you know, you expand it. What do you mean by that? This particular mnemonic. Key concern: weak funding oversight, digital exclusion, lack of penalties, poor enforcement. How government wants to go about this Shram Shakti Niti 2025? Saying things, we will implement demonetization. But when you implemented demonetization, you first talked about curbing black money. When that thing did not happen, you started talking about digital, and we want to go digital and all these things. So don't just change goalpost. If you're talking about Shram Shakti Niti 2025, how you will achieve it? You want to achieve it by 2047. You have certain targets. How you are going to do it? Like, what will be the modus operandi? So Shram Shakti Niti 2025 aspires to be a rights-driven, future-ready policy for Viksit Bharat, but falls short in execution. Again, that has been a problem here. In our time, when you people were not born, during Delhi Sultanate period, there used to be an ruler. His name was Muhammad bin Tughlaq, 1325 to 1351. So he has always had grand ideas, but his implementation was very poor. These days, in today's world scenario, there is one particular leader of a particular country who is sometimes equated with Muhammad bin Tughlaq, having great ideas, but the execution always falls flat. So true success depends on restoring, and again, that's what we have to talk about. Shram Shakti Niti, the aims and the objectives are very noble, but how you're going to implement it so that it doesn't become a failure like demonetization. Yes, yes, please, Jivan, do send it in WhatsApp. So true success depends on restoring dignity, justice, and rights for India's laboring millions, not just, again, you can read all these things. Hope you understood. So there are some keywords. Once you solve mains question, pre-question, you'll be able to remember it. So let's say this is a mains question which is asked. Now this is one question which if you know, you know, otherwise you cannot do Bol Bachan here. This is very specific. So what is this question? Critically examine the objectives and challenges of Draft Shram Shakti Niti 2025. So here there will be two parts, two major parts: objectives and the challenges. In objective, you will talk about what government is thinking: 35% female jobs by 2035, blah blah blah. What are the different objectives? How they want to merge EPFO, ESIC, eShram, PMJ, into one single portal. Then what are the challenges? Lack of digital literacy is a challenge. How government is going to implement it? Lack of proper unions. Who will talk about labors and their grievances? So you will talk about how government is going to implement it, from where the money will come when you're merging different insurance schemes. So you have to talk about these things. Talking about things is very easy. Implementation is always a challenge, and that will be a challenge here also when we are talking about Draft Shram Shakti Niti 2025. Okay, sir. So let's have a look at it. Oh my God, I'm still not well, guys. So critically examine. So India's labor landscape, you can see 90% of total employment in informal sector. In that regard, the Shram Shakti Niti 2025, which will be going on from 2025 to 2047, is very important. The ideas are very noble. It will implement ILO's objectives, SDGs objectives, green jobs, etc., etc. Implementation will be key. Objectives: universal social security account, replacing EPF, blah blah blah. We have discussed this. AI-enabled national carrier service. So this national carrier service, let's say, I will show you people today one answer written by Harshini. So Harshini writes such good answers. So maybe AI will tell which job she is more suitable for. After being a civil servant, you can always do one alternative job or multiple jobs. Okay, occupational safety reforms enforcement of 2020. Again, we have talked about this. 35% female participation. So these are the objectives. Green jobs, because we are transitioning from non-renewable to renewable, which is aligned with SDG 13. So these are the objectives. And then the challenges: funding gaps, money. From where will the money come? And then digital exclusion. Everything is linked. AI, this and that. Not all people know about internet, everything. We have talked about digital arrest and how it has become such a fad now. So how we will address digital exclusion? Weak enforcement, inspector shortage, lack of penalties, trade unions have been declining. So who will ask, or who will raise voice for these labors? So again, there are challenges, and government has to delineate how government is going to drink lemon juice with hot water, please. Okay, thank you, Jivain, yaar. So again, you can see this thing. We want, and we will become a Viksit Bharat by 2047, but we have to think about how we are going to implement these things. Saying stuff is one thing, implementing it another. So again, you can have a look at this. Oh my God. Let's solve some question, guys. With reference to Shram Shakti Niti 2025, consider the following statements. And again, here you may feel like, oh my God, so this is such a tough question. This is a tough question, guys, but use option elimination. Lemon juice with hot water. I will do it. Jivan. Jivan is such a good girl. So, Shram Shakti Niti aims to integrate and read all option, guys. Iltush is such a good girl. Aims to integrate various social security scheme under a single universal social security account. It proposes an AI driven national. Now we know third is wrong, right? It does not want to achieve 50% female labor participation, 35% labor participation, right? If we are not wrong. So third is wrong. If third is wrong, and if you go back, so A has to be the answer. See this guy, Chipandis. It targets 35% of female labor. Where has that page gone, guys? So these days, yeah, 35% female labor participation by 2030. So remember these figures. They can ask you in pre, you can use it in mains. Sometimes people say we don't need to remember specific data and numbers. You need to. You need to when you are substantiating your answer. So you need to have some data, guys. Datas is nothing. Singular is data, plural is data. So again, what is the answer for MCQ 4? As Iltu stated, Harshini stated, Gajanan, hope you're understanding why the answer is A, Mad King and GYN. Third is wrong. 35% female labor participation, not 50%. PMJ, Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana was launched as a part of which broader initiative? Japanese. National Health Mission, Ayushman Bharat Mission, Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, National Digital Health Mission. We have discussed Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. I have told you when we were discussing it, it's a part of which mission? Jivayan has given the answer, Harshini has given the answer. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana launched in 2018 as a part of Ayushman Bharat, 5 lakh cover, oh my god. But not for primary healthcare, secondary and tertiary. Very good. Secondary and tertiary healthcare, guys. Not for primary healthcare. Remember it, in 1000 exams they have asked this. So the answer is B, as stated by Jivayan, Harshini, Iltush, Mad King. Really good. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. Spread the word. And yes, if you're preparing for 26, 27, you can take any of these courses, especially focus on mains answer evaluation, guys. And you can see other things. If you're preparing for 2026, your history should be good. If your history is not good, you can take history through NCRT series. Let me show you something. So I'm checking a lot of answers. I will show you other copies also. So this is the answer of Harshini, which she sent me some days back, but I was not well, so I was not able to check a copy. There were so many copies still pending. I have to check them. So see, I have written one answer on decline of traditional art. Again, this is, I think, a PYQ. How it crippled rural economy. 15 marker. 15 marker. You have to write it in 10 minutes rather. So see the way she have written this answer. I'm just telling you, because if you're writing it, whoever is checking it, you should know how to frame your answer. The way she frames it, the way she writes it. 12 minutes. She's still taking a little bit more time. Ideally, 15 marker. Oh my God, what has happened here? Should be written in 10 minutes. 10, but 12 is fine. Earlier, she was taking a lot more time. So her answer was such. I will show you some more answers that I was not able to. Generally, I can count what are the things which are wrong, which should be corrected, etc., etc. Here, I was not able to give too much feedback to her answer. It was almost perfect. That's what I have written. Almost perfect answer. She can quote Naroji's Poverty in British Rule in India, or RC, that's Economic History of India, because this is about economic exploitation. But all in all, it's a good answer, guys. It's an awesome answer. I will show you some more answer. Why I'm showing you these? So that it incentivizes you to write some more answers, to practice mains answer writing. The cheap, the single biggest code for you to crack UPSC CSE is writing a lot of answer. Please write, guys. It's very important. So let's focus on the third article of the day. If you have any queries related to any of the courses, you can always send me a WhatsApp message. Page number 13, GS1, GS3. What's the status of rare earth hypothesis? Again, a very good article. I never take easy articles. I always take tough articles. So what is rare earth hypothesis? And again, there are so many keywords which are there in this particular article. So rare earth hypothesis says that there are so many planets, there are so many exoplanets. There will be keywords, focus, exoplanets, habitable zone, Goldilocks zone. UPSC has already asked questions from this particular topic, so we will see that. So exoplanets, planets orbiting other solar, means other stars than the sun, which we have. Goldilocks zone, habitable zone, means a particular planet that should not be very far from the sun, means their star, not neither very close to that particular star, lying at a position where there is a probability of liquid water, that is habitable zone. So what is the status of rare earth hypothesis? Rare earth hypothesis says that molecular life, microbial life, that can be common, but complex life, like the life which we have currently, Mad King, Iltush, Harshini, Jiva, and I, we look like awesome, we look like Greek god Hrithik Roshan. And again, so this complex multicellular life is probably rare, and that is rare earth hypothesis. And then different missions have gone, NASA's Kepler telescope, blah blah blah, and more or less whatever we are seeing and whatever we are observing, it looks more and more likely that rare earth hypothesis may be correct. We are not very sure. I have told you different things about space, and why this is GS1 and GS3. GS1 geography, GS3 space. There are two frightening theories about space. What are those two frightening theories about space? One, we are not alone in this whole universe. The second thing, we are alone in this whole universe. Both are equally frightening. So there are many interdependent conditions which must align perfectly for human life, for awesome life like us to emerge. Microbial life, bacteria, fungi, etc., it is common. It can be common. You can find it somewhere in the universe. But awesome guys like us, it's very difficult to find us. This is a rare earth hypothesis given in 2000. So now NASA's Kepler telescope, blah blah blah. Now they are saying that it's not easy. Universe is not very easy to understand. Sometimes we feel like some conditions are very easy and it can occur, they do not occur. Sometimes we feel like some conditions are difficult, they cannot occur in other satellite system, or mean star system, but they do occur. So early Kepler studies up to, again, there will be some keywords. 20% of sun-like stars might host Earth-sized planets in the habitable zone. So it's all about might. It's all about may. We don't have enough technology to go beyond certain strata of universe. So habitability isn't guaranteed. Even planets in habitable zone, like Venus, even like it is said that Venus, Earth, and Mars, they are in the habitable zone of the solar system which we have. But we don't have life on Venus. So it's not only about habitable zone. It's not only about Goldilocks zone. It depends on so many other factors also, atmospheric conditions also. So there are so many ifs and buts. Probability, when you people will become big enough, and you will start preparing for UPSC, etc. And in maths, in 11th, 12th, you will read probability. So there are, like, the probability of having lives like us is very low, rare earth hypothesis. Microbial life can be present. Now, M dwarf star. Focus on the keywords, guys. Can you people hear that dick chick which is happening outside my house? Nobody can hear the dick chick. So what are these M dwarf star? It is said that in our universe, these are generally smaller stars. Why today dick chick, guys? Smaller stars, basically smaller, cooler stars. These are M dwarf stars. 70 to 75% of the stars which you have in the universe, they are M dwarf stars. Nobody can hear it. So, and these are the stars where there is high probability that you have habitable planets. You have Goldilocks zone. So there is oxygen accumulation, false biosignatures. It appears that life is there. But when we deep means deeper, and when we try to understand and read the conditions more, we feels like, or we have got the scenarios where it has we felt like it was false biosignature. The life was not exactly there. So James Webb Space Telescope, again, they have studied different planets, exoplanets, and they have realized that Earth-sized habitable zone, Goldilocks zone. Goldilocks zone is what? How much far away you are from a particular star system, so that you're neither too cold, oh my god, neither too warm, you have liquid water. So those things can exist. Those kind of planets will be there. There will be some Earth-sized planet also. But Earth-sized planet does not mean it will be Earth-like. It does not mean it will have, organisms like we are having right now. We need more data. We need more sophisticated technology to know more about these things. The basic rationale is music said yes, but hope I'm also audible. And so again, there is another theory. It's not only about how far we are, or how close or how far we are from the sun. It's about different other factors. Like, many people believe Jupiter, it is shielding us from asteroids, which is there between Mars and Jupiter, asteroid belt. It is shielding us from that. And so if you want life on other planets which are there in the Goldilocks zone, and which are like Earth. So you need a friend like Jupiter. Like Jupiter was a friend of ours which shielded us from asteroids. So we need a bigger planets around that particular Goldilocks planet, exoplanet. But it's not always needed. Jupiter is shielding us right now. A similar kind of giant planet may shield or may not shield. Again, it depends upon so many different factors. So again, you don't have to do PhD here, guys. You just have to understand there are so many ifs and buts. What are there? There are so many ifs and buts when we are talking about rare earth hypothesis, when we are talking about Goldilocks zone, when we are talking about hyper means habitable zone. So Earth-sized planet in habitable zones are not rare, perhaps a few tens of percent. So there are Earth-sized planet, but they're not exactly Earth-like. So there are keywords here. What they have written: Earth-sized is not equal to Earth-like. They can be of the size of Earth. They have different other features, but they will not have all the things which Earth has. Earth size is not equal to Earth like. Stable climate, atmosphere, so many things have to be there. Then tectonic theory. So we are very unique in our own way, and we should be very proud of that fact. So breakthrough, listen, search for life, all these things are going on, but we don't have enough evidence. Absence of evidence is not equal to evidence of absence. We don't have to do PhD. What you have to understand via this article is, what is rare earth hypothesis. Microbial life can be there in different parts, but complex long-lived ecosystem like Earth, like us, our dinosaur, or us humans, that is rare. And we are still not finding this particular rare earth hypothesis being discarded totally. Current data supports but does not prove the rare earth hypothesis. It remains plausible but unverified. We are not finding long-lived ecosystem up until now, but again, maybe in future something will happen. So rare earth hypothesis, just keep in mind the word. Let's solve some questions so that you can understand. Goldilocks zone, not one, it's Goldilocks zone. PYQ 6, what is Goldilocks zone? The term Goldilocks zone is often seen in news in the context of choose the best option, guys. The limits of habitable zone above the surface of Earth. Reasons inside Earth-like planets in outer space. Why am I stammering today? Search, maybe because I'm not well. Search for Earth-like planets in outer space. Search for meteorites containing precious metal. Nobody knows it. What is Goldilocks? Gajanan has given the answer. No, it is not limits of habitable zone above the surface of Earth. It is about search for Earth-like planets in outer space. That is Goldilocks zone. Search for Earth-like planets. So, Iltush and Jiva, I hope you're understanding why A is not the answer. It is not limit of habitable zone above the surface of Earth. We're not talking about space in general. We're talking about everything. You know, uh, different star system. We are trying to find out the Goldilocks zone. Planets not very far, not too close to the that particular star, so that liquid water can exist. So, Earth-like planets in outer space. That is the answer. C, C, C. Not B. Not A. C is the answer, guys. The reason inside Earth-like planets in outer space, inside the Earth. What does it mean inside the Earth? Search for Earth-like planets in outer space. This is the best option. Cool, cool, cool. Rare Earth hypothesis proposes what? What is the basic meaning of a rare Earth hypothesis? Microbial life is impossible outside Earth. Complex multicellular life may be uncommon in the universe. All stars have planets with life bearing potential. Earth is the only planet in the Milky Way. What is rare Earth? What is the basic phenomena of rare Earth? What is rare Earth saying? Harshini has given the answer. Who's a good girl? Harshini is a good girl. So, rare earth hypothesis proposes that complex multicellular life may be uncommon in the universe. So, Harshini, the answer which I have shared with you, that is another good answer written by another good girl. So, that was the basic purpose. Harshini is asking me yesterday, why have you sent another answer, sir? What is this, sir? So hope you understood what was that. So Harshini, Iltush, Mad King, Kirija, Jiva, and all of you have given the answer. Complex multicellular life may be uncommon in the universe. We are awesome, guys. Doom, Doom. In our time, there was a movie which was known as Doom 2. So there, Ritik Roshan was like, awesome. Doom, Doom. I am straight, guys, but yes, Ritik Roshan was awesome in that song. So, page number 11, opinion GS3. GS3 is ruling the roost today. India recorded the highest greenhouse gas. Now, again, here there are certain keywords which you have to understand. Highest greenhouse gas emission for 2024. So, what are the terms which are important? Empty CO2e, million tons CO2 equivalent. What is the basic meaning of these terms? So, if I show you, if we go back and if I show you this article, if you go here, this is the article we are talking about. India recorded the highest greenhouse gas emission of 2024. However, in per capita terms, India's emission remain less than half the global average. We are not, in absolute terms, we have not recorded the highest greenhouse emission. No, in absolute terms, we are third behind China and US. We are third. But the increment which has happened from 23 to 24, that is the highest. Please understand this, guys. This is an important topic because we are topping it. Wherever we are topping it, that should be a matter of proud. And we should feel proud, happy about it, and send this news to Modi sir, and he'll be happy. He will take the credit. Okay, let's focus. So India recorded the highest greenhouse emission for 2024 increment, not the exact numbers. So before I tell you this, focus on this number. Comparative contribution. This is what this article is saying. From last year to this year, the increase in CO2 emission is 165 million ton CO2 equivalent. Now we have to understand this empty CO2 equivalent. What is empty CO2 equivalent? Let's say we have 1 million ton CH4. So 1 million ton CH4 methane you have emitted, let's say, that is equal to 28 million ton CO2 equivalent. That means we are talking about what is the impact? 1 million ton CH4 has more impact or has about 28 times the impact of CO2 emission. CH4 is a more potent greenhouse gas. So that's why you have this CO2e equivalent. You are converting all gases in CO2 terms, like CH4, how much impact it is having on the environment, 28 times CO2 impact, and other gases also. We converted everything into CO2, the basic common denominator, and that's why we have the CO2 equivalent. We'll solve questions, you will understand each and everything. Cool. So increment, we have done the largest increment. China is second. Awesome. India is doing top. But overall, in absolute terms, we are at the third. India was the third largest overall emitter after China and United States. So this is the number. And hope you understood empty CO2e. So, and when we talk about, this is the absolute number, guys, per capita GHG. We also have our population, because we have such huge population. When we talk about per capita GHG emission, and this we always take as a defensive, like, you know, when you go to Paris Climate Deal, when you go to Belém roadmap and this and that COP 30, we always talk about this per capita GHG emission. Then it is only 3 tons CO2 equivalent, less than half of like what is the global average. So we still need to do a lot of carbon emission. We will do it. And if you don't want us to do it, give us money via Green Climate Fund, via Belém 2 or Baku to Belém roadmap, which we have discussed yesterday or day before yesterday. So we need money if you want us to reduce this GHG emission, because per capita GHG emission is less than half the global average. And why this is coming out to be less than half the global average? Because our country's population is, as Donald Trump would say, huge. Our India's per capita emission grew, blah, blah, blah. We could read all these things. The important thing is fact and figure. Increment topper, but overall third topper. And when it talks to per capita emission, we are much lesser than the global average. Now, which, if we talk about worldwide global emission, which particular sector is, emitting maximum CO2? Power generation, this coal gas, etc., they are emitting maximum. Methane, we have discussed. You are eating rice. I was in Hyderabad, so there people eat rice of different variants: lemon rice, then lemon something rice, then this rice, that rice. Rice is a major source of CH4, and we have seen how potent GHG rice is. So methane, 16% of total GHG emission. You can see all these numbers, and this is important from pre perspective. Let's solve some question so that you can remember it. MCQ 8. Consider the following statement. In 2024, India recorded the largest absolute increase in GHG emission. Read all statements, use option elimination. You can solve this question. So again, what is the answer, guys? Harshini has given the answer. We know India was not the second largest overall emitter of GHG. We are the third largest, guys, after China and US. So second is wrong. If second is wrong, you can eliminate B, C, and D, and you will get the answer, that is A, 1, and 3. India's per capita GHG measured in 2024 were less than half of the global average. So Harshini, Iltush, Jiva, and Gajanan, all of you have given the answer. Very good. MCQ 9. Which of the following sector contributed the largest share of fossil CO2 emission globally in 2024? We have discussed. It's not about India. Which particular sector is contributing largest share of fossil CO2 emission, guys? Yeah, my hair is looking much better without that thing. Kirija. Kirija is so caring, guys. Kirija has sent me so many things to do because I'm not well. So Kirija has, and I'm so thankful, Kirija. Thank you so much. Yeah, she teaches for TNPSC, Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission. Very sincere student. So which of the following sector contributed the largest share of fossil CO2 emission globally? So the answer is, as Jivayan, Harshini, Iltush, Kirija, and Gajanan, all of you are stating power generation. Very good. Page number 16, GS3. Now here there are some terms. So there are certain species which are critically endangered. Great Indian bustard. UPSC has already asked 1,000 questions on Great Indian bustard. We will talk about this. But the basic thing which we have to talk about in this article are different terms. One term is intergenerational equity. So this is one term which we have to understand. The second term is, my nose is full with butter. Butter. Second term is this one. Where is the term? Ecocentrism. So we have to understand the difference between intergenerational equity and ecocentrism. So what is happening here? And then we'll talk about this whole case, the Great Indian Bustard case and the lesser Florican population case. They are critically endangered. Anything which is critically endangered, they are very important. IUCN. Tell me, guys, UPSC PYQ, is IUCN a part of United Nations? Yes or no? What is your answer? In the meantime, how's your health, sir? I'm recovering, Kirija. Thank you for asking, Kirija. So intergenerational equity. So here the talks are going on that how humans are so self-obsessed. We humans are very self-obsessed, and that has given rise to this particular theory, intergenerational equity. Intergenerational equity says that the present generation, they should use resources in such a way that we are leaving something for the future generation. You may feel like, sir, how we are self-obsessed when we are talking about such good thing. It's actually good that we are leaving something for the future generation. It's not only about us, guys. We are not, this is a common problem not only with humans, it's a common problem with us also. Everybody thinks world revolves around them. I think the world revolves around me. You may think world revolves around you. That is not, and this is a big issue. We are just a part of nature. We are not everything, and we are not nature in its entirety rather. So this is the problem with intergenerational equity. It is keeping human, the focus is on human centered, anthropocentric. Intergenerational equity is anthropocentric, it is human centered. Now if you talk about the other aspect, which is ecocentrism, here we are talking about, you know don't think, how something is important to you or how something is important to humans. Think about how something is important to nature, and that is ecocentric approach. So in this particular article, yes, let's focus. So in this particular article, Supreme Court is talking about these awesome things, that whenever we are talking about, if you're talking about, okay, so Harshini has said that IUCN is not part of UN. Very good, yeah. So here this article is saying that when we are talking about great Indian bustard, lesser florican, so they are critically endangered. When you're talking about conserving them, just give me a second, guys. So yes, am I audible, guys? So here they're saying that when you're even thinking about preserving these critically endangered species, again a homework, guys, make a note of all the critically endangered flora and fauna which we have in our country. All these are important, especially those are in news. Great Indian bustard and lesser florican, critically endangered. Even when we are talking about their preservation, we are focusing not on ecocentric approach but on intergenerational equity, human-centered approach, focus on human benefit, how they can impact us, how they can benefit us. Great Indian bustard, lesser florican. This is not a great approach. That's what Justice Narasimha sir is saying here. And he's saying, okay, just give me a second. So he's talking about intergenerational equity has biblical roots, portraying humans at the top of the natural hierarchy, and it assumes that everything is there for our use. This is so wrong, and this should not be the approach when we are trying to conserve great Indian bustard and lesser florican. Rather than focusing on intergenerational equity, try to focus on ecocentric approach. Try to think on what they are bringing to nature as a whole, and rather than what benefit they are bringing to us humans. So again, and the judge is going philosophical. He's talking about a Red Sanders case, what happened, where they have talked about the value, intrinsic worth of endangered species rather than their value to humans. If they're thinking about their values to humans, it is intergenerational equity rather than ecocentric approach. Focus on ecocentric approach, guys. Don't be so self-obsessed. Don't be so greedy. Amicus query. What is the meaning of this word amicus query? Focus on the keywords. Hope you understood the difference between intergenerational equity and ecocentrism. So again, the observation highlights philosophical shift from, again, this thing is not only important from GS3, even from GS4 perspective, case study perspective, this is important. They can give you a case study or they can ask you these terms, how intergenerational equity is different from ecocentrism. And you have to understand, we should not be keeping ourselves at the center of everything. This is so wrong. So philosophical shift in Indian environmental jurisprudence from anthropocentrism to ecocentrism, and this you can write somewhere when you're writing any art means, even in essay related to environment or GS3 answer or ethics related to environmental case study, you can talk about how we have to shift from anthropocentrism to ecocentrism. Oh my God. And then you can write this thing. Prakriti Rakshati Rakshita. I keep on telling you people this. Prakriti Rakshati Rakshita means nature protects. What have I written? Nature protects if she is protected. So again, hope you understood. And now let's solve some question. MCQ 10. Which one of the following correctly explains the term empty CO2e, which we have discussed in the previous article, guys? Chepandis fast. Don't Chepandis slow. Chepandi, Chepu, so. So empty CO2e, million tons of methane emission, million tons of carbon dioxide emission only, million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, a measure combining all greenhouse gases based on their warming potential, million tons of cool equivalent. So again, try this question. This is a homework for you. We will discuss this tomorrow. The answer, MCQ 10 and MCQ 11. The term anthropocentric. as used in environmental philosophy refers to what? Chipmundies. And we will discuss these two answers tomorrow. Like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word, guys. Make me famous. I will share this particular PDF in this Telegram channel. You can join this Telegram channel. You can post your score. You can join these courses. You can have a look at these courses. If you have any queries related to any query in courses, you can send me a WhatsApp message at this particular number. And again, there are certain courses which will actually help you: means answer evaluation, history through NCRT series, and mentorship. You know, this will help you all irrespective of whether you're preparing for in 26, 27, or 2050. Yeah. So again, you are your own competition. You're not competing with anybody else. If I'm helping you in any way, you can also donate. That will help a lot. Every single contribution matters. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Jivan. Thank you, Gajanan. My voice is gone. And thank you, everyone else. I'm going now. I will see you people tomorrow at 8 a.m. Tomorrow is what day? Or Thursday? Yes, tomorrow I will see you. Bye bye. Thank you, Kirija. Thank you, Iltush.